Hello and welcome to the first edition of the All Out NBA podcast. It's been a long time coming, but we are finally here. Joined by Hindo Door, Mackenzie.
Hello, how are we?
How are we, boys?
Yeah, not bad, man, not bad. Hectic day in the NBA today, and it's been a pretty good start to the season.
It has. Look, as I said, it's been a long time coming. We went to do a podcast prior to the season, but difficulties happened, to say the least.
Good old technical
Yeah,
difficulties.
technical difficulties, but we're back now, better than ever.
And a dog as well, which I can hear right now.
Yeah, he's coming back. He's coming back for seconds.
Yeah. Basically, boys, we'll just run through, what we've seen so far in the season, highlights, what surprised you, stuff like that. What do you reckon, Hindo?
Yeah, man, it's been, as I said, pretty good start to the season. For me, the standout team I think has been Minnesota Timberwolves. No one ever expects anything from them. They're 10-2, beat some really good teams in there. On the other side of things, pretty disappointing team is the Clippers. They had a good roster and added Harden. They're only just coming good now, so
Yeah, back-to-back wins.
Look, Door, you're a prolific Harden hater. What do you think of that trade?
I actually thought straight away that Philly had been fleeced. Fleeced Kafusi.
well, they had been fleeced.
Yeah.
He looked that way, but
Realistically, they didn't give up. They gave up some nice role players, but I think with Harden, he's obviously unfit. He's obviously the system player, as he says. I think they need some time to gel.
Yeah. It looks like it's starting to head in the right direction now with back-to-back wins, and it looks like now with Westy putting his hand up and moving back to the bench, I think that they're going to start to get it going soon.
and for Philly, it was just addition by subtraction because Maxi's been unlocked. He's been one of the best players in the NBA this year, obviously.
He's a flamethrower.
He's a flamethrower, yeah, and they're just playing so much quicker. Like they're just passing the ball around more because Harden's not dribbling the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Like Maxi's shooting more, Embiid's passing more, so it just looks good for them.
Yep. Door, what's your highlights sort of been so far? Lakers been pretty good.
Highlights. Oh, today was excellent. It was a day that I could watch the Lakers and didn't have to stress about it being a close game or something like that. It was really good. Got past the Jazz. I think we scored, like 70, 76, points in the paint to the Jazz's 30, I think. So AD was huge.
Yep.
And Hayes and Wood were able to come off the bench and get the job done as well. So that was good. Highlight. Oh, look, I actually think Philly's been very impressive. Like Macca just touched on before with Maxi. He's been unbelievable. He's probably, I'd say he's easily, surely the hot favorite for most improved.
Certainly.
And then, probably Embiid and Jokic have been really good as well. So that's probably my highlights thus far.
Nick Nurse is sort of, last year they were an annoying team to watch. They're just ISO'd with Embiid.
They're so stagnant.
Yeah.
Whereas
Doc,
now they're
Doc
quick.
Rivers just typically overrated coach.
Yeah.
It took him 4 Hall of Famers to win 1 ring.
Yeah.
He had a great team with the Clippers and couldn't do anything there. So, I'm not surprised to see him move on and really have some success.
Frustrating how they just picked up Nick Nurse like that. Like there were so many good coaches, not coaching. Meanwhile, the Wizards are stuck with Wes Unseld.
Wes
Jr.
Unseld, worst coach of all time.
He's up there.
Unseld.
Mackenzie, what are your thoughts?
Well, we just started talking about the Wizards, so
Very pleasing.
yeah,
Number one pick.
Yeah, true. I was sort of hoping for more from Jordan Poole. I think we can talk about a bit here.
Kid stinks.
He's been absolutely putrid.
Yeah, it looks like he's lost a lot of his confidence.
Yeah.
His shots.
Yeah.
That's.
But I think one way to possibly unlock him is to just play him at point guard. Just get the ball in his hands, see what he can do.
So.
And that way we can play the promising rookie, Bilal Coulibaly, at shooting guard, who's been really good in his minutes.
Yeah.
And that way we can sort of cover Poole defensively. So hopefully Wes Unseld will try that, but knowing him, he probably won't. So, yeah.
Yeah, for me, a few teams have excited me. Obviously, Thunder, I wouldn't even say the Thunder have exceeded expectations.
Yeah, I think at this point it's just expected.
I'd say Chet Holmgren definitely has. I knew he'd be pretty good, but he's having one of the most efficient seasons ever so far. What's he shooting like?
Like 57.
50, 90.
Yeah, 57, 47, 90.
I'd say him from OKC from the Western Conference, but for the Eastern Conference, Pacers and the Magic actually have been surprising.
Yeah,
Magic,
Magic
yeah.
very good. I had some comments on that at the end of last season. They've got a very long and defensive-minded roster.
Yeah.
And they're annoying to face
Def-
night in, night out.
Yeah,
And,
defensively, the Magic just been incredible. Jalen Suggs, I think, is like
yeah, he's playing.
he's on track for first team All NBA defense. He's been that good
Yeah,
defensively.
He's also balding.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
balding.
You
Poor
win
bloke.
some, you lose some.
Yeah, you gotta trade
that's
some things
exactly
off.
right.
Trade his hair off for some decent play.
Who else has been surprising?
Well, just touching on Indiana today, that was one of the most cooked games I've ever seen.
By Howie,
Oh,
third
not
quarter.
wrong.
Halliburton, I think he scored like 26 in the quarter.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying in the comment section, like, obviously, you can basically say there was no defense that play. I think it was, how much total points was it? Like
Oh, it was
100
about
and-
150 to 140.
Yeah,
or
but
something
I think
in
it's-
that ballpark.
They honestly didn't miss. for
Yeah,
like two
I-
quarters.
157 to 152.
No,
was the
like
final score.
old heads will be looking at that game and be like, "Oh, they don't play any defense anymore." No,
Yeah.
they're just way better at basketball.
Yeah, that's right.
They're all way better at shooting,
Yeah.
way quicker, way stronger. Like,
they're
yes,
both-
maybe the defense wasn't like as good as it could have been, but also they're just
Yeah.
so good offensively.
Yeah, Halley's just the ultimate orchestrator of the offense.
Yeah.
He can get whatever shot he
Yeah.
wants for anyone, and he was just in his
Yeah.
bag. Like,
Yeah.
nothing you can do to stop that. So,
Yeah, he's basically Chris Paul with a sniping jump shot, which
Yeah.
is scary as fuck and
That's right.
taller. So
Do we
Yeah.
think, I don't know if Indiana win enough games for him to be a MVP type. Like, he'll be a candidate, but I don't think he'll win it.
no,
Maybe
Yeah,
if
he
they
could-
add a few defensive pieces and they get a top 3 seed, he's like the type of player that people love voting for.
yeah, that's right. I reckon they're just missing a few bits to probably make that good enough seed in the East.
yeah. Well, to win the MVP these days, you have to be
You have to be,
Probably
top 2 team and top,
Yeah.
top player. You have to
Like-
be Jokic or Embiid,
yeah.
Giannis type of guy.
Well, I wanted to touch on a person who I think could win MVP this year, SGA,
Yeah,
because he's
Looks like they'll have the
averaging.
record.
Just touch on his stats. He's averaging 29 points, 6 rebounds, 6. Wait, hang on. I got the wrong stats.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
just-
30 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2.5 steals on 53% shooting. Like,
He's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
he'll be
ridiculous.
First team,
Yeah,
All
for
NBA
sure.
And all NBA defense, which
Yeah.
is a pretty good starting point. Just hope he has the record to get the voters.
and he's only 25, so
Watching SGA, you know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to run up, shoulder check someone, step back,
bro, it works
do
every
a
time.
post fade.
Yeah, his change of
Crispy
pace is
though.
crazy as well. Like, he's never he's a bit like Luka. He's not like ever rushed, and he's like
yeah,
plays
he's
on
got
his
that
pace.
shiftiness, like
Yeah.
and he's not grifting fouls. Like he's getting genuinely good looks and
Yeah.
playing hard. So
Yeah.
you love to see it. It's
With-
entertaining.
With OKC, we're obviously all Australians. Watching our guy when Giddy play closely, I'd say he's had a pretty disappointing start to the season. Does it bring concern? Maybe he's not the player. He's maybe the most tradable player on that lineup.
Yeah, on the roster, I'd say he probably holds the most value from a trade
Yeah.
perspective.
I'm a bit 50-50 because I still think he's a fantastic player,
He's a
but yeah,
gun.
it's just a bit, especially with Shet there now as like and Jalen Williams actually, who looks like a second, third option. I think if they wanted to bring in a legit star, I think Giddy would be the number one guy to trade. Sadly,
Yeah, they got picks galore. So
Yeah.
you
and
you
it'll be
put
good for
on
him as
there.
well because he'll probably go to a team where he can run the show, which is
Yeah.
what he wants to do. So
Like a second-year player.
Speaking of which, to the Jazz
Laurie Markkinen.
for Laurie Markkinen.
yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
They'd have to give him an awful lot of picks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Zach
and they
They
haven't.
it could-
They have plenty.
That's what I'm saying, it could happen.
They
It
could give
happen.
5 away and still have
Sam's
like
been
20
stacking
Yeah,
them.
that's right. Yeah.
Presti's been stacking them.
Speaking of tradable, the Chicago Bulls are woeful.
Oh,
We all,
Yeah.
Yeah,
out of every team in the NBA, I think being a Bulls fan would be the worst at the moment.
yeah. Well, similar to the Wizards of old, well, last few years, like
Just stagnant.
then maybe they'll win 38 games, 40 games, and maybe they'll make the playoffs. But like, they're never going to win a championship with this roster. So
you just think of it. Like I remember whatever it was, like before we started all that NBA, like staying up and watching the or following the deadline. And I remember that when Vooch left to Chicago from the Magic, I was like, oh, like that could be a big piece for
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
But it just, as you said, it hasn't eventuated out, and I just think that potentially, I think it could be time to like Levine just doesn't look happy at
No.
all.
even in the wins,
looks
he's
depressed.
just unhappy.
Yeah.
So,
And-
It's, on a much poorer quality of basketball scale, it's much like why the Celtics haven't found success. They just like that true point guard.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that
Well,
someone-
Lonzo's
someone-
out as well, which doesn't help.
Someone to
Yeah.
keep everything in
Mm.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got scorers galore like
Mm.
the Celtics had, but obviously the Celtics have much better defensive
Yeah.
players. But yeah, they're just missing someone to keep them in check.
Yeah.
You know,
With Levine, where do we realistically see him actually getting traded? And do you think he's actually a player who will contribute to winning on a championship roster?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Like he's shown that he can be efficient and score heaps of points.
Yeah.
And he has, like, if he's locked in, he could be a good defender as well.
yeah, I think he's got good potential to go somewhere.
I'm not sure
somewhere
where
that
he could go, but I think he could be a legit piece somewhere.
Because like someone like Sixers, do they risk trading for him and then doing what they did with Harden? Maxi's not fully unlocked.
I think it's a risk you should probably take because
I think Levine would be perfect for Philly. Because
Yeah,
I think it's not. He doesn't really, in my opinion, he doesn't really take that many shots compared to like someone like Harden, or needs to like dribble the ball and have the ball in his hands at all times.
He's also a cooked catch and shoot.
Yeah.
he could just inject himself in there and play off of Embiid. So it's a good
It's really
spot for
fit
him.
to be on the Lakers. I reckon one of the better teams could be the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah,
Because they,
definitely.
they got Fox and Sabonis.
Yeah.
And they have a great bench, but they're playing, hyper offense anyway. So they're not going to worry about.
He'd fit there because Sabonis is a good like passing big man. So they just feed with Sabonis and then have Levine, Fox running around.
Fox being such a good drive and kick player, as Mick said, the catch and shoot will be there, and he can make his own shot if anything gets stagnant. So as a team that I think are looking to take the next step, the Kings would be a real
Fox
good
and
spot.
Levine on the fast break would be fucking cooked as well. So
The main thing is he'll be happy. Like he'll probably be happy because it just looks like he just wants to get out. I think we were saying. I think they're probably Philly and the Kings are probably the two favorites if Levine's going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the bullshit reports that Lakers seem to be involved.
Butt trucks
and like from what I've heard internally from the Lakers, we're just focusing on our team that we've got at the moment.
Man, whenever there's
luckily we've won I think 3 in a row now, so Gabe Vincent will be back soon. So
whenever there's a disgruntled player or any player that wants to be traded, Lakers just circling around. Apparently,
Beal was going to the Lakers for like 4 years there.
Caruso is the other player that also Mick from the Bulls has been linked to trades. There hasn't been much like on DeRozan as of such or Vucevic. It's been Levine and Caruso.
I think every contending team in the league would want a Caruso. Just does his job, plays good defense, can shoot.
From a Bulls fan perspective, you got a lot of good pieces you could flip for some first rounders and some good young players. You could enter rebuilding mode tomorrow, and be happier than you are now. So
they could actually kickstart their rebuild a lot more than the Wizards could because we had
that's right.
Beal's no trade clause, we had Porzingis opting out. Like we had no actual pieces to move around. They actually do.
Kind of move on from Billy Donovan as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We just sort of touched on Bulls obviously disappointing. Anything else so far in the season that maybe some players you're high on or some teams that have disappointed so far?
Annoyingly, the Spurs, I think, like it's almost been intentional how they haven't played a point guard with Wemby. Like,
and they have Sochan there.
Like it's almost as if they're like, you know what, we're just gonna keep losing for a bit longer because if give Wemby imagine Wemby and Hallie together, they could just absolutely feast. It's annoying that he has to create his own shot, which he can do, but right now, what he needs is a legit ball handling playmaker.
They got to play Trey Jones more.
Yeah, Trey Jones must be feeling dirty out. So he's actually good
because he's playing like 30 minutes or something like that. He should be playing like 35, 36 minutes, and respectfully, Sochan should be having a bit of a less role.
I think Sochan
shoot free throws one-handed.
Yeah, actually working too. I think Sochan will be a good player, but he's not a point guard at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not having a go at him. I just think that it'd be better suited for the Spurs to have Trey Jones running the point.
Yeah. Do we think it's worth? I was a bit speculative of Houston's off-season moves, but it's obviously worked out. Van Vliet's literally just come in, and he's averaging like 9 assists per game. Now Sengun's playing better. Whole team's playing better. Is it worth trading for a genuine point guard like that?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. Well, I do think Van Vliet's a bit overrated. He's still a very quality point guard, and they've got a good coach who can get the most out of a player like him. So, I think overall it's looking like a good move.
I think I was talking to Hindo about this, on the way here. Like Thompson for the Rockets, he's barely played at all.
Oh yeah, amen. Well, he's been injured, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's been injured a bit, and also I just don't know. It's
with Jalen Green, do we think that we should the Rockets should move on someone like Jalen Green, and then you could move Van Fleet maybe to shooting guard, and then chase that point guard. That
Green would be a great player to try and shop around because he's exciting. He can score the ball, but if you're the Rockets rebuilding, you don't necessarily want to chuck her at your 2 spot when you're trying to build young players up. Like Jabari Smith has proven he can be a great player in the summer league. You got Fred VanVleet driving the bus. You got Thompson who needs to get minutes, and you got Green getting 20 points on 20 shots. Not perfect, is it? But
I guess they're just assessing where they are right now.
Yeah, that's fair. They're early in the rebuild.
They might just be waiting for,
especially with the
January to show
KPJ
something
situation as well.
true.
I think that sort of halted proceedings a
and
little.
I guess there's nothing wrong with Thompson sort of laying the ropes from the bench or but he'll definitely be a player who needs more minutes later in.
Sengun's been great. He's been unreal. Sengun has.
Yep.
And look, we've just touched on Ron Thompson, but Klay Thompson is someone I've been thoroughly disappointed in this
Shanghai
season.
Shark
Our
of the
Shanghai Shark of the week for week 4.
Off to China, but
It's been stinky.
Chinese. But he was asking for like 200 mil in the off season, and he was a bit upset
like,
when the
Clay,
Warriors couldn't
You ain't that guy.
sign the contract.
You ain't that guy no more,
He
bro.
But you
shoots
gotta-
0 from 15, then puts up the 4 rings fingers. Like,
Yeah, but if you're going to ask for that, he's not averaging bad stats, but he's not playing well. You know, and you can see he's not playing well. So I think will he get traded? Because if the Warriors aren't going to give him the money, and he's not playing well. He could go and help a Lakers or a Kings or a Philly.
I just don't. I can't see Golden State trading him just
I
because
agree.
of what's happened.
It's too hard to
what
be.
he's done.
It's too hard to trade a club legend like that. But
Yeah.
they're 7 and 8. I can't see the Warriors like making any plays in the
I agree.
playoffs.
Well, they'd lost 6 on the trot before yesterday, and Clay, like to his credit, I think had. See, on another note, when we put someone on the Shanghai Shark, it seems to spark them in the right direction. We put Randall in the first week, and then he found his form again, and then Clay we put him in yesterday.
We put
2 days
have
ago.
we put
Sorry.
Harden? We put Harden.
Yeah,
in.
we put
He started
Harden in,
playing a
and
bit
he's
better.
been
Playing
better.
well, so-
Yeah, and then Clay, and then he had his best game.
We should put Jordan Poole in. Maybe he'll fucking come good then.
It
Mate,
might
he's
be next.
close.
Yeah, he's
Mate,
awfully
I'm very
close.
happy with Jordan Poole. 30 points, 11 of 26 shooting. That's basically what everyone predicted.
That's what I thought it would be,
Yeah, that's,
but
that's what you want from him.
yeah, that's what I want. But it was like not taking many shots, missing heaps of shots. Like, what are you doing, bro?
I guess another thing as well is he's had one good game, not the 2 games ago, was Wiggins. He's also been very.
He's been awful.
Yeah,
he's just
very poor.
He's just had a hard time coming back from that personal absence last
Yeah.
season. He
Michael
played
Leisha
okay in the
type
playoffs,
player,
but he's just not looked himself.
No.
So hopefully he can come good again. He's a great player.
Speaking of the Wizards, Kyle Kuzma, like everyone's roasting him in the comments, but he's also averaging
playing
23
well. He's
points
playing
on like
well.
48%.
Yeah.
And he got 13 assists last game.
Yeah, I got no problem at all with
Kuz is far from our problem. He's a good
Kuz
player.
is probably one of those Lakers that we let go like all the rest of them. But he knows his role and he can play it really well. And he's developed that way.
Yeah.
He's a scoring forward, and that's the Wizards. If you see him doing that, you're happy.
Yeah, and also if you watch the games, he's like, especially when Pearl's on the court, the defenses are all over him. Like,
that's
it's not like he's scoring.
Still score.
Yeah, it's not like he's scoring buckets with no attention. He's scoring legit tough buckets. So.
Yeah, and he's not playing garbage minutes either.
No.
So, as a Wizards fan, you're thinking maybe you get 60% through the season at the trade deadline, and a contender comes knocking with 2 or 3 first-round picks for Kuz. Maybe you say yes to help you rebuild.
Yeah, I dare say that might even be what we're thinking, but. At the same time, I'm also happy to keep a guy like Kuz because he's
that's right.
He's a good person. He's a good player.
Seems happy in DC, which is what you want.
Yeah, which not many people are. And more importantly, the players, like everyone seems to like him. So yeah, it could be good for the rebuilding the culture.
Now, boys, we've watched our first NBA in-season tournament. Basically, like the EPL with their competitions door. What have your thoughts been? It's been pretty interesting. Lakers are without a loss.
Yeah, 4-0. We're in. We've played all our games. I don't know if I think we might be the first ones to have played all our games, but
I think Pacers are also in.
Pacers are 3-0.
Yeah,
Bucks 2-0 in their respective groups.
Pacers and the
Kings.
Lakers both qualified. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head what the in-season tournament standings are for that Eastern group with the Pacers, but yeah, they qualified with still a game to go. Where Lakers, I think it comes down to the Suns are versing the Grizzlies. If the Suns win, then they'll be in as well because the Jazz are finished with 2-2. So
the courts are trippy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Some are
some-
good,
some are
some are
clean,
good,
some aren't
but
so
oh,
clean.
I was about to say I like the in-season tournament. I fucking hate the courts.
I think-
they,
I think
mate,
what they need
they hurt
to
my
do-
eyes, especially the heat one, the
Yeah,
red
no.
one.
They probably just could have come out with alternate jerseys or
Yeah.
something.
The
Probably just-
jerseys are cool.
Yeah, jersey. I like the
Yeah.
jerseys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I think a good question that Hindo and I touched on the way in was, what do we think the in-season tournament? Do you think it's having a good positive impact on the NBA?
Yeah, like we were talking about with the EPL, I feel like it's just yet to hold any weight within the players. Like they don't really care. But do we think they need sort of a reward?
well, I think there's a big money reward, isn't there? Not that they
Yeah.
need more money, but like,
well,
Yeah,
big
can't
for,
hurt.
big for pretty much everyone except NBA players. But I think it's about 500K
Yeah,
they
I mean,
get,
yeah.
which
What-
is good
Mm.
chunk of money.
What's
Um,
like a realistic? Like it'd be too powerful if you win that and you get like a
Playoff berth.
5 more wins or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, so
I think Hindo had a good idea.
So Hallie touched on it today. He said winner of the in-season tournament should get an automatic playoff seed, but I think that's a bit complicated.
I think
and it's too much.
I
in my
completely
opinion.
disagree, because what if you just win those games and lose every other game?
Yeah.
in the regular
Yeah,
season?
like, and then so a team who's actually done really well in the
Yeah.
regular season,
And then you've got to either create another spot
Mm.
for like another team to
Yeah.
make it even.
yeah,
and
I-
you've already got the play in to add that
Yeah.
competitive nature to have a wild card.
yeah,
But I've it's similar to what they do in the Major League Baseball. Is if in the Major League Baseball, whichever league, so American or National League, whoever wins the All-Star game gets home field in the World Series. If the West team wins the in-season tournament, that conference should get home seed in the finals.
yeah. I think that's a
'Cause-
good idea.
Because when you think about it, later in the season when they're playing the finals in the tournament, that's when the high seed teams are going to really be wanting to competing for an extra advantage down in the playoffs. So if you think about the Celtics, if they're competing for home field in the finals, they're going to be playing pretty fucking hard.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that could be an easy
Yeah.
reward.
Yeah.
Thing with NBA is like, out of a lot of sports, its history is real. Like the stats are set in stone. Like we say it's hard to compare eras, but realistically, compared to other sports, you actually pretty much can with accolade and stuff. I just don't want to there's been a lot of talks of wanting to reduce the games in a season,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I feel like that's just such a grey area because you don't want to change that, and then it just cooks all the history as
Yeah,
well.
but I don't think enough people will think that's a valid enough reason. I think
Yeah, that's true.
even though you do, that's a statistician.
Yeah.
Statistician, you going, I don't want this to change, but
To be
yeah, I
fair,
don't know.
health's definitely an issue. Like, I don't think back-to-back should be a thing.
Nah, back-to-backs are cooked.
Yeah, I think the NBA has done a better job lately of really drawing out the schedule to pick.
There seems to be less back-to-backs.
Yeah, they've done a good job of optimizing, which teams play where. Like
Yeah.
if you think about the Wizards, when they fly to Cali, they're playing the 4 Cali teams and then they're back.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So things like that have made a big
yeah.
difference.
And a lot of the back-to-backs now are like same team back-to-backs. Like you
Yeah,
verse the
that's-
Heat twice, or
Yeah.
that makes it a lot better.
They're
as well.
definitely doing a good job
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
aspect.
Now, boys, just one more thing to finish up on. We'll try and get through it quickly. I know we want to talk about this, but just some quick predictions so far throughout the season. Obviously, we can tell a bit, but our MVP,
Yeah. Do we? Is
Rookie of
it,
the Year, and Depoy.
is it predictions from before the season started, or is it like adjusted to?
Yeah, I think we run our prediction off the first 10 to 15 games.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
So going
Yeah.
around the room, door. You start off.
Do it, LeBron.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. Yeah, MVP LeBron. Look,
That's-
it's
He
a bit
thinks
out there,
still
but
he's
look,
old.
Diabolical.
His bones are brittle and juiced up.
juiced up. Yeah, he has a bit of a bone bruising, but look, he's putting up 26.4 points, 8.2 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.7 steals. Got a few turnovers, but look, the Lakers are heading in the right direction. And yeah, I'm not going to touch on go into it in too much depth because we'll be here forever. But
Yep.
yeah, GOAT. We'll move on.
Yeah, I don't hate
Rookie of
that.
the Year. I'm probably going to go. I think at the moment I'm probably going to. Well, I was going for at the start of the season was Wemby. I think he's probably second or third, maybe at the moment. Johnson's been going really well from the Hawks as well as Chet from the Thunder. But yeah, Wemby was my one before the season. DPOY. another Lakers man, AD. I think he actually leads the DPOY at the moment, I'd say. He's averaging cook numbers on the defensive end. Most improved, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I did. I had Maxi to as my most improved, and then my sixth man.
Can our technician check that? Can you check that he had Maxi before?
I think he did have Maxi actually. Yeah, I think
I'll check it now while I do my sixth man. And unfortunately, he had got injured. But yeah, I'm still Kelly Oubre. I think he's still a good chance.
He'd buy a car.
Yeah.
Crash his bike.
Poor Kelly.
It is.
Yeah. Do you want to go next, Hindo? You go through yours.
Geez, MVP. It's always hard to look past Jokic. He's just one of the best players on the best team.
Yep.
The stats are there. I reckon he's probably going to come close to a triple-double. The voters had their year off putting Embiid up there, so I reckon he's a good chance. Depoy, it's a tough one. You know, you probably got to look at someone like AD. If he plays the games, that is, he's averaging over 12 boards, 3 blocks. You know, the Lakers don't have the best defense in the league just yet, but he's individually an absolute standout candidate. Rookie of the year, I'm going to go Chet. Probably had Wemby before the season, but yeah, Chet is, in my opinion, playing better and he has the benefit of a winning roster.
Yeah,
so he can look better in hindsight. But yeah, I think Chet, he's had a year in the NBA system, so I think that's proven he's got a lot of benefit from that. Sixth man of the year. I don't know any six man of the years.
Yeah, I reckon we just cut off the six man of the year.
Six man of the year. It could be anyone. I'm going to say Austin Reeves.
You said Bobby Portis, Hindo, to start the season, and yes,
I take that back.
Yes,
Poor Bobby.
And yes, I did indeed have Tyrese Maxey as my
nice call, ball.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Nice call. All right.
Did I have Scoot? Terrible take. Dreadful take.
All right, I'll go now. MVP.
Good sharp.
MVP SGA for reasons I've said earlier. Rookie of the year, yeah, I'll change to Shet. Definitely had Wemby beforehand, but Shet's playing better. And yeah, I'll have the better record too. Depoy, I actually agree with AD. He's been carrying the defense for the Lakers. When he doesn't play, the defense is dross. Other than him, maybe Rugby Yogurt, Rudy Gobert, just because Timberwolves have arguably the best defense. So.
Mobley?
Yeah, Mobley's a good call as well.
Daughter spewed at that.
I think I had Mobley before the season started.
Maybe. We're about to get fact checked.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Jaren Jackson Jr., yeah. Well, bugger him. Most improved, yeah, Maxey at the moment. I think I had Cade, but Cade's roster is just absolutely terrible, and he's not playing too well. So, yeah, I'll say Maxey.
You had Cade Cunningham.
Go on, Mick. Your picks.
I still believe in you, Cade.
MVP, it's hard to go past Jokic. I think they'll be a top 3 seed. And I think his stats, what they are right now, it's like 30, 10, and 9 or something.
Yeah.
Cool. I can't see a world where that like decreases. Maybe the points per game, but he's cooked. He's so good. Then Rookie of the Year, Chet's having, as I said earlier, like one of the most efficient seasons ever in his first season as well. I think him having a year off with that injury definitely helped. Just getting acclimatized to the NBA.
Yep. Always helps.
Like it did with Simmons. Blake Griffin.
Griffin, yep.
Yep.
And then Depoy, I feel like Rudy Gobert is a good pick, but I can't decide between Bam. I think Bam's had a big year so far. Like Jimmy Butler's digressed. I think he's a very switchable defender. Sort of carries their defense. Or Brook Lopez.
Yeah,
like he's gotten tons of blocks last
I think Brook's averaging like 3.5 blocks or something.
Yeah, so I think he might be favourite, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think AD might be favourite, but yeah.
Yeah, I think AD's just the problem is if he plays enough games.
2 games. That's
missed one at the moment.
Yeah, it's looking good at the moment. Touch wood.
And then most improved's got to be Maxey. I was thinking Tyler Herro, but then he got injured. So
Herro, he's been really good.
Besides from Maxey, who else is like Scotty Barnes, I guess.
Scotty.
Harrow beforehand. There was another big one I was forgetting.
There's someone obvious.
Well, there was 3 people in the
LaMelo almost.
What is this for? Is this the 6th man? Or
this
is
for most improved. I'm just saying who else like is in consideration.
Yeah, you could say Scotty Barnes, I guess. Yeah.
But Maxey's.
I think Maxey's the.
Just playing so good. And a lot of things with most improved. It's a lot situational.
Yeah.
In his situation, he gets to move in, be that ball dominant guard, play with a great great center. So.
Big one you were thinking about was Cam Thomas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cam Thomas. Yeah,
Yeah.
before the injury was like went
Yeah,
from
he
like
was
10
balling.
points a game to fucking 28 or something.
If Cam Thomas didn't get injured, it'd be a very close
It'd be close.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But still, he should be back, I think, next week. Thank
Yeah.
God for my
So
fantasy
if-
team. But
Sangoon
Yeah.
also as well.
As good
Yeah.
as Maxi's been, if Cam Thomas comes back and keeps averaging like 27 points, you can't possibly not give it to
Yeah, that's
him.
right.
Yeah.
Like just based on the improvement. Because Maxi was still good last year. Like wasn't like he was bad.
Yeah.
no, that is very
yeah.
true.
We'll see what happens.
Righto. Thanks for listening, everyone, to the first All That NBA podcast. Obviously, we're on all socials,
Yeah.
spitting out content everywhere. At 600 followers, I think, on Instadoor.
Yeah.
Let's get
I'll
that
give
to-
you the exact amount if you'd like.
bump
me.
that
Let's
up.
bump that to one.
One-
622 we've got.
Let's bump. Hit that
Yeah.
fucking follow button.
We've got a bit of fantasy content in there as well, which I know
Yeah.
a lot of people
yeah.
like.
We'll touch more on
Yeah.
fantasy in the future podcast, I think, when we have more time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was like a bit of a rough podcast, but
Yeah.
the first one. Probably trying to do it weekly. I'd
Yeah,
say.
yeah, definitely once a week. So
Yep.
hopefully get out something every week. So
Yeah. So watch this fucking space.
yeah.
Lovely.
Big things coming, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, big things in store.
Thanks, lads.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.